cookery of toh-mae spicy kaeng, please.
Hello, hi. Okay, so today I'm going to represent my team to talk about toh-mae spicy soup, Buriwanich Street in Satun. So the members of the team, so it's me, Kitiphong, Khongphet, Rosita, Madting, Pratthana, Muadnoi, Nawin, Banglaema. Okay, so what is Buriwanich Street? Buriwanich Street is inside Satun in Piman sub-district, and it's the first street that's called Nakari Satoi. So Nakari, it means literal city. Satoi, it's graton, which is type of fruit. So it used to be everywhere. So that's why the city is called that. And it's a very multilingual and very diverse community. So we use a lot of languages. We use the dialect, Chinese, Malayu, Central dialect. And during the time when Pratthana Haruddin was the ruler of the city, it was during the golden era of Satun, and there was a lot of trades, and we trade a lot of the bird nest and also pepper. So the place is called Nakari Satoi Mambang Sakara, or it's Prasamuttewa. So Satun used to be a very small city inside Saiburi city. And now Saibuli is actually part of Malaysia. So therefore, Satun connects parts of it, connects to Malaysia. So a lot of influence is from Malay culture. For example, with toh-mae. Toh-mae comes from the Melayu tumi, which means to cook the curry paste with the coconut cream to make sure it's very fragrant, and a lot of the taste, it's very tasty, it's very intense. And it's something that's been passed on from generations, and it's still being used a lot. So more than 70% of the local community still knows how to cook it, and they still eat it. And the heritage inside toh-mae, you have the tangible heritage, which is the curry paste. So those are the tangible things, the ingredients, the cooking tools, and the intangible heritage is the recipe, the way in which they prepare, and also the rituals in which toh-mae is used. So is this cultural heritage still strong? Yes, it's not at risk of disappearing because a lot of the younger generations still cook toh-mae soup. And so, for example, my cousin, my family is at 26-year-old, and they still know how to do it. So from me interviewing him, my brother-in-law, he says that his mother passed down this knowledge of cooking. So, and another aspect is that we also have the shops to sell toh-mae, and people are very open to share the recipe to anybody who's interested. So they don't keep it secret, and therefore you can find that that knowledge is still quite common, and you can find the ingredients anywhere in the fresh market. So it's not at risk of disappearing. And our informants, so the first one is Kun Samanon Prik Pinet. So he's a salesperson, and he's also a leader of a lot of community groups. And Kun Sirishai Tongsi, which is the guy in the blue shirt. So he provided demonstrations on how to cook toh-mae spicy soup. And also there is the restaurant Osha, which is one of the famous toh-mae place in Buriwanich, and they provided us the information on how to use it, and also provided us the pluralistic cultural food festival. And also Kun Pensi, who is a housewife, and also Kun Nom, Kun Perm, who is a local fisherman. And these are our informants. And the opportunity in passing on this knowledge, there's a lot of opportunity because the community members, they welcome us, and they do provide demonstrations, and they're quite open to share their knowledge. And municipality of Satun had invited people to partake in this process to make sure the knowledge is passed on. The project that we want to do is the safeguarding and passing on the cultural heritage of the local Buriwanich food, which is toh-mae. And I want to host an activity on Buriwanich Street, and to make an event in which they can sell local food. And there will be a demonstration how to make toh-mae, how to cook toh-mae, and so people can actually learn to cook it and also learn to taste it right there. And the objectives is to attract people from different age and generations, and so that they can know how to preserve toh-mae, and also that the cultural heritage is safeguarded and people know more about it, especially outside the community, and also to increase the economics and also to collaborate and strengthen networking opportunities. For this activity, people would earn more income because we would have tourists coming in and be interested to try the local food, and also that preserves and safeguards local food and the food culture, and also it addresses the sustainability issue, and the identity, the cultural identity of the community would also be safeguarded longer because they also share the culture. And okay, so next we're going to give you the recipes to toh-mae, the Buriwanich toh-mae recipe. Okay, so the ingredients, we use sea fish, and that's fatty, and we also use curry paste, garlic shallots, eggplants, samui tet or galapole, which is type of a lime berry leaf, and also tamarind. So the first process, we would slice shallots and garlics very thinly, and then we fry it until it's golden, and then we use the samui tet, the lime berry leaf, deep fried until it's crunchy, and then we put in coconut cream, cook them together until it becomes fragrant. And once you stir and then wait till the coconut cream boils, and then that's when it becomes very fragrant and ready. And then after that, you put in fish that's been chopped to small pieces to fillet, and then you you put in salt, water, tamarind, sugar, and eggplant. Once everything is cooked, then put in shallots and garlic, and that's the last process. And we would eat it with oily rice, which is also cooked with by leopard leaf, polycias leaf. So that is it from my side. Thank you very much for listening. My name is Tae. Hello. So there are two parts. The first one is to increase, instead of just 70% of the local community who already know how to cook it, and we want to increase those people to know how to do it. So let's just say like a horizontal expansion, let's just call it that. So I think this is something the government can really do well. And I want to give you some advice that actually in doing the vertical expansion, it could be through fusion food, right? So you can also introduce this to a more of a local Thai food, and that could be the fusion. I don't know what you think about it. I kind of want to know what you think if we were to fusion that central Thai food.
ครับขอผมถามอีกรอบได้ไหมครับเมื่อกี้
ได้ครับขอโอเค
Sorry, can you ask the question again? Yes. Okay. The first one is I really admire this because I mean, if more than 70% of the people inside the community still knows how to make toh-mae, that's impressive. But if you can expand to more than just 70%, that's great. And in the expansion, if you want an expansion through the vertical way, you know, if you want to combine it with the European food, Thai local central food, do you think that's possible? Because that could also increase the awareness amongst the other people outside the community, and they can combine it with some dishes that they're already eating anyway. So that's, I'm just looking at it through a marketing view. How are you going to expand that, and how do you introduce that? How do you awareness to make sure it's sustainable? So during the Halihayo from the Satun Province, we bring toh-mae as part of the Halihayo ceremony. So we introduce that through the Facebook page. So we have a Buriwanich Street Community Facebook page. I think we have about 10,000 followers. So that's how we communicate out. So Halihayo also, you would have a new dish, which is toh-mae. And I think other provinces outside Satun doesn't do it yet. And then also perhaps the followers or anybody who, or if anybody can see it, and they can also bring toh-mae to other provinces when they have some opportunities. Okay, so you have a lot of spices in toh-mae. And about preservation, what's the shelf life? How long can you keep it? So actually you have to cook it and eat it within the day. So that can be one area for the opportunities, because now it's COVID. And everybody always order food, right? Delivery, whether it's Western food, Thai food, so processed food, ready to eat food. anything that they can easily microwave, that they can easily heat. That can be one idea, right? I mean, that can be one platform in which you can increase the awareness of toh-mae. And I think I heard that you mentioned like a YouTube and Facebook page on how to cook. Do you have any other ideas on disseminating those information and to introduce it to more people online?
ก็คือเราเนี่ยจะทางถนนบุรีวันนี่จะติดต่อกับสถานศึกษา
So we're in close contact with educational facilities. So if there's any activities, actually the teachers inside the school would show it to the students, and the students, they talk about it with their parents. That's one of the ways in which we publicize it. Thank you. That's it. Thank you. Okay, next person, Kun Purit, please.
ก็แอนดูมีสวยงามดูมี value มาก
It looks really good, and I can see a lot of values. And like one time in which I ran into somebody from Satun, and yesterday I ran into, what are the chances, but I ran into this one Satun person, and I asked him, have you heard about this toh-mae? And he said, yes, I cook it at home. And originally it was his parents who cook it, and that's something that you cook and eat at home. So, but for whatever reasons, one of the things, because I work for airlines business, I find that as an opportunity that is some are still missing. You know, for example, in tourism, if you link it to tourism, Satun does not have an airport yet, right? And to go to Satun, you have to go through Hat Yai, right? I mean, you land there at the airport. And so therefore, when you reach the airport, then you have to drive, right? So from Hat Yai to Satun. So each of the distance different, you can come in many directions, and some short, some longer. And so actually what I think is that when there is that airport, then the chance of reviving the economics, the chance of selling this, I think I'm thinking at the provincial level. So in order to do something with this toh-mae or toh-mae, to make it sustainable, I see that you need to have partnerships, especially with other organizations, right? And you need to increase the partnerships to make sure that this becomes the food that's sustainable economically, financially sustainable. I'm not sure if your generation, Tommy, do you know? I'm just asking because I don't know. Do you know it? Well, yes, we cook at home, we eat it. So therefore, it's assumed that in all households in Satun, you know it. Yes. So in my opinion, if you want to expand it to the other surrounding areas to make sure that it becomes popular, I think that's also another good opportunity. Maybe you can make toh-mae, dried toh-mae powder or something. You can develop the product, and so just make sure that it can be shelved, right? I mean, there are so many opportunities. It doesn't have to be, you know, an actual fresh toh-mae soup. It could be powdered, right? So in the future, you can perhaps, you know, come up with creative ideas, and people in Bangkok may know more about this. I'm not going to comment on the channels of communications because I believe that you have to learn by doing. And if you're already there, then I believe that, of course, you know, digital platforms, it's going very fast. It's something that's growing very rapidly. So therefore, the access to that, you also need to take it step by step, and nothing is fixed. And it's not that you have to fix to the plans. And I believe that everything is flexible, and you can also adapt based on the economy, right? And see how it can be adjusted, and to make sure it's sustainable. And I think in a very big term and in a very holistic sense, I think that's all I'm going to comment. And in overall, I think it's great. But I think there is still area for improvement. Thank you. Thank you so much, Kun Purit. So next, Kun Kaylin from UNDP, please.
I think, general speaking, for me as a person that living in Thailand for 4 years, I still find a lot of local spices are a mystery to me. So I actually learned a lot from the presentations. So I think there are a lot of people who are, so for me, it's very either or option. So either I love it or I don't find it, I find it very, as the taste is very new, very strange to me. So it's, so I would love to see, you know, how you can bring more, like a more friendly perspective into people who are new to different kinds of local Thai spices, different way to introduce Thai spices to many of maybe some expats living here. So yeah, thank you so much.